All right, I'd like to open up the Warrenton Board of Alderman meeting for Tuesday, May 16th, 2023. And if everyone could please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next up is military banners.
So we have the 4 military banners up here tonight, and I'm hoping that some of the families came and can take pictures of them before we get them hung up. They will be hung prior to Memorial Day.
Do we know where they'll be hung along at?
I don't have that information.
How long before Memorial Day do people have to have them in before they could get them up? I know there's a time frame, but let's get it out there.
Sure. For Memorial Day, it's approximately about 4 to 6 weeks, because we want to make sure that we get them printed and everything correct before we get them out there. So it's usually around the end of April that we like to get all that information in, and then we'll do it again at Labor Day.
Okay. Thank you.
So I don't know if you want to let everybody come and take pictures now.
If anyone would like to come up, take a picture next to the banners. If anyone's here. Yep. Please, go on up.
Brandy, those are... I have to grab my wife. Brandy, those are double-sided too, correct?
Correct.
Yes, they are.
And they'll be on 47, somewhere along 47. I just don't know the exact.
Yeah. Thank you, Alderman. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Thank you. All right. And my son is deployed right now in Turkey, so he's there for 2 years, so he left 2 weeks ago, I guess. So that's why he's not here to join us. So, all right. Next topic is public hearing, the Warren County time zone designation application.
So last year, the Missouri legislature authorized the formation of a targeted industrial manufacturing enhancement zones, or time zones. Time zones may be established for the purposes of completing infrastructure projects to promote the economic development of the region. Consistent with the legislation, Warren County, the cities of Jonesburg, Truesdale, and White City have expressed a desire to establish a time zone in an area generally along the I-70 corridor. Once established, a time zone will have its own governing body known as the Zone Board. The Zone Board will consist of 7 members selected by the participating political subdivisions. The Zone Board was authorized to enter into agreements with businesses subject to the approval of the Department of Economic Development, whereby 25% of the state tax withholdings imposed on new jobs within a time zone after development or redevelopment has commenced shall not be remitted to the General Revenue Fund of the state of Missouri. Instead, such monies shall be deposited into a time zone fund for the purpose of continuing to expand, develop, and redevelop time zones identified by the Zone Board, and may be used for managerial, engineering, legal, research, promotion, planning, and any other expenses. To join in establishing a time zone, the participating political subdivisions must approve legislation creating such zone. Prior to approving such legislation, the city must hold a public hearing to consider the creation of the time zone and the proposed improvements therein. At the hearing, the governing bodies of the participating political subdivisions shall hear and pass upon all objections to the time zone and the proposed improvements, if any, and may amend the proposed improvements and the plans and specifications therefore. This is a public hearing, and anyone in the public wishing to speak on the establishment of the proposed time zone may do so at this time. At the end of the public hearing, I request a motion to prepare the appropriate legislation establishing the time zone to be presented at the next regular Board of Aldermen meeting.
Thank you.
All right, so at this time, if anyone from the public would like to come up and speak about this matter only, please come up to the podium. State your name, and we'll give you 5 minutes to speak about it. Since no one is moving, what do you need from us then, Brandy?
I just need a motion that we can create the appropriate
Forward with this?
legislation for the next Board of Alderman meeting.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to move forward with the Warren County time zone designation application.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made by Alderman Schultz, second by Alderman Corder. Do you need a roll call vote on this? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Miller,
Yes. Yes.
Alderman Scholes,
Yes.
Alderman Crump,
Yes.
Alderman Corder,
Yes.
Alderman Cullum,
Yes.
Alderman Romaker.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Anything else, Brandy,
No, sir.
on this? All right. What's next? Consent agenda.
We have the regular meeting minutes from May 2nd, 2023.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Cullum, second by Alderman Miller. Roll call vote.
Alderman Scholes,
Yes.
Alderman Crump,
Yes.
Alderman Corder,
Yes.
Alderman Cullum,
Yes.
Alderman Romaker,
Yes.
Alderman Miller.
Yes.
Consent agenda passes 6-0. All right, next up we have public comments. If anyone from the public would like to come up, speak at the podium, state your name, we'll give you 5 minutes to speak.
Good evening. I'm Jane Kelly with Warren County Fragile Homeless. I came to follow up and see if there had been any more discussion on a place for homeless, as far as a protected place where they wouldn't be run off, and where we could find them, where street outreach with St. Joachim Ann can come out and find them. Is that okay to ask? Has there been any further discussion?
Currently at this time, Jane, we have not had a chance to discuss this since
Okay.
the last time you were here.
I have, I'd just like to give a tiny report. We're still number 7 in the state of Missouri, Warren County, 114 counties. We're number 34 or 36 in the 30s, and we're number 7 for homeless. We are 2.5 times more homeless than we should be. Tonight, there are more homeless in Warrenton to Wright City corridor than Wentzville. Wentzville clocked in at 80, so we should have been 30 or 40, but we had over 100. Tonight, I'd just like to ask something that maybe would be really easy and not controversial. Last few months, I mentioned several times that in our community, people are calling the wrong number when they're homeless. They continue to call 211. And I had asked all of you to call 211, and you would witness firsthand what happens. Did anyone have a chance to do that? So 211 is not our system. This flyer is from NECAC. There's a few of these flyers around. This is our system. The number they have to call is 636-856-5151. But there's 4 more very important pieces of information that have to go with this. When you call 211, they answer the phone. When you're homeless and you're in crisis and you're hysterical, having someone answer the phone is very comforting. And 211 then says, there's no help for you because you're in Warrenton, call the churches. And if you haven't, like I suggested before, talk to your pastors. The calls are incredible. Even an hour ago, I mean, everyone I talk to, I'm batting almost 100% that they've called 211 and they think there's no help. There is help if you could help us get our first line responders, our businesses, our people to understand that this is what we need to tell our people to do. This will be an easy first step. It wouldn't cost anything. It shouldn't be controversial, I hope. But the 4 things that they have to know is that no one answers the phone. The phone rings in Troy, the social workers are there, they get 100 calls a day from our county, Lincoln County, and St. Charles County. So we have to tell them that. Nobody's going to answer. I know you're in crisis, but this is how you get in the system. You wait a week. If they haven't called back, then you're allowed to call again. When the call does come, it will ring 3 times and say no caller ID. If they don't answer, or they don't have a phone, or they haven't been able to charge their phone, the girls will try one more time the next day. It'll ring 3 times, sometimes 4 times. And if they don't answer it, then they're done, and they have to call again and wait again. We have to tell them all of that. It's going to say no caller ID. You have to answer your phone. Until they do your assessment, you're not in our system. We have a system. Here's the good that would happen if we could get our people to use this number in our system. If she's pregnant, we can get her to Our Lady's Inn or Ann's Anchor. If he's a runaway youth, we can get him to Youth in Need. If they need a recovery home, there's a list of 300 recovery homes in the state, everywhere but here, but we could make those referrals. There's a lot of referrals. Domestic violence, we can get them, on and on. So what I hear on a daily basis from our area homeless right here in Warrenton is they go to Fast Lane, they go to Waffle House, and the community at large is telling them, call 211. They don't even get into our system. When they get into our system, St. Joachim and Ann has $286,000 they spend to come out to Warren County with street outreach. And they bring them food, and they bring them phones, and they bring them tents, and they bring them sleeping bags and all kind of stuff. They check on them on every Tuesday and every Friday. But they can't find them because they're not getting registered in our system. So I just wanted to mention that. If I could leave this flyer or not, I can't do that. I can do that?
What was that number again?
636-856-5151.
Thank you.
Jane, have you talked to like Fastlane and the businesses around here if you could leave flyers like that in their establishments and they could hang them up?
I have taken the cards. Street Outreach will give me thousands of cards. I'm just a volunteer. I'm a retired registered nurse. I have no authority. Again, no one is leading the homeless. There's not any authority. I couldn't find one job description in anywhere in the county that has the authority to say anything about homeless. And so then it looked to me like we just have to lay it back at the feet of the elected officials. So I was hoping that, however you guys want to do it, but yes, I have given out many cards.
Okay, that was what I was curious, just to make sure our
The cards
businesses...
don't explain it like a flyer. A lot of people call that number, they don't answer, and they just hang up.
Right.
A lot of people. I'd say we're batting 5% of our homeless population is not understanding the system.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else from the public would like to come up and speak? All right. Board of Alderman comments.
I'd like to say thank you to all of the city employees that came out this past Saturday to help with the citywide cleanup out at the fairgrounds. I went out and there looked to be, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, John, about, did you have 5 large dumpsters or 6 large dumpsters?
We had 4 with trash and 2 with scrap metal.
And several hundred tires.
Yeah, 2 trailer loads of tires.
So thank you very much. I appreciate all the hard work that you guys and effort that you put into that this past week, and the community thanks you as well.
I'm guessing it was a good turnout?
It was huge. We had over 180 cars
Oh my.
come through there, so, yeah.
That's in a 4-hour period?
Yeah, it started, the line, we couldn't see the end of the line until 11 o'clock. It started at 7:45. So people were greeted with lines this year rather than quick service. So apologize for the wait, but we just couldn't keep up.
Right, right.
So,
Right. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for everything. Any other comments, anyone? All right. Moving on. All right. City Administrator Brandy Walters.
The one thing that I have for you tonight is the annual health insurance waiver reimbursement. So just to explain that a little bit, if we have employees, we offer to pay 100% of the employee's health insurance, employee only. If they opt to not take that and they have insurance elsewhere, they have to prove that they have insurance elsewhere, and then we pay half of what we would have paid to have them on our insurance plan. We reimburse that on payroll, the first payroll in June every year. So this year we have 9 people, and it totals $35,666.46, and it'll be paid out on our payroll Friday, June 9th.
It get moved at all with the fiscal year moving, or?
I'm not sure how we're going to work that out over the next year. This next year, we will still have insurance at the same, it goes.
Okay.
But the following year after that, we're going to try to move that to also the same fiscal year, January.
All right. I'll entertain a motion
for the approval of the health insurance waiver payments in the amount of $35,666.46.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made by Alderman Schultz, second by Alderman Porter. Roll call vote.
Alderman Crump,
Yes.
Alderman Quarter,
Yes.
Alderman Cullum,
Yes.
Alderman Romaker,
Yes.
Alderman Miller,
Yes.
Alderman Schultz.
Yes.
All right. Motion passes 6-0.
That's all I have.
Well, thank you, Brandy. Next up, Directors of Operation, John Struckoff.
Good evening. The only thing I have for you tonight is the admin report. And one big note on there, if you notice, we actually hired 4 people last month, so.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's great. We're looking up, so we're still hiring a few in a few departments, but we're looking better than we were at the beginning of the year, so, which is a good thing.
Water tower's looking good.
Sorry?
The water tower's looking good.
Yeah, they've had some good weather until this past week, but they get a lot of work done when they got good weather, so.
Is it gonna be white with red lettering, or is it gonna be the same as it was?
I believe it's gonna be white with the red lettering like we did on the last 3 that we've done, so that way they all match, so.
Any other questions for John?
No. That's all I have for you tonight, thank you.
All right, thank you, John. All right, next up, Building Commissioner Mike Cross.
Good evening, Board. You have my monthly report. A few highlights we've got going on is, if you've been through Pinckney lately, we've got about 10 houses, 7 under construction, 7 more occupied currently. Up to 12 housing permits for this year, which is a good. Tractor Supply is moving along. If you've been up next to Schnucks and seen that construction site, it's moving along quite well. Same thing with SSM and the Fueler gas station. So weather kind of killed us a little bit here this last few days, but hopefully we'll get some dry time.
Do they have an opening date on that or a thought on it, when that might be open?
No, nothing as of yet.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, any other questions for Mike? No. All right. Thank you, Mike.
Welcome.
All right, next up, Chief of Police, Larry Eller.
Good evening. I just have one item for you tonight, and that's the monthly report. If you don't have any questions, I will shamelessly plug the Special Olympics torch run that's going to be on the 26th. It's going to start at Dyke Kroger Park in Wright City at 10 a.m. It's going to end right here at this building at 12:30-ish to 1 o'clock. There'll be food, drink, and a brief presentation.
All right. Any other questions?
No.
Thank you, Chief.
That's all we got. Thank you.
All right, next up, Director of Planning and Development, Tim Burks.
Board members, you have a copy of my monthly report for April. One highlight on there is the Small Town Nutrition opened at 703 Veterans Memorial Parkway on April 23rd. Do you have any questions for me?
No questions? Any questions from Tim? Nope. All right, Tim, go ahead.
All right, so the first item project is going to be the approval request for amendments to section 405.140 sidewalks and pedestrian ways, ADM 129. This section 405.140 sidewalks and pedestrian way, section B, number 3. On this, we're going to remove the requirement for the rebar evenly placed and joint that are pinned into sidewalks. We no longer need that, so to make it easier on the contractors, we're just going to remove that requirement for them. So, the planning and zoning results, the motion was passed 9-0 with 1 absent. And no further on that one. Do you have any questions?
No. So, all entertain a motion for the first reading of Bill number 30-23.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Cullum, second by Alderman Romaker.
Bill number 30-23, an ordinance amending section 410.140 of the Municipal Code of the City of Warrenton, Missouri regarding sidewalks and pedestrian ways.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for the second reading of Bill number 30-23.
So move. Second.
Motion made by Alderman Miller, second by Alderman Romaker.
Bill number 30-23, an ordinance amending section 410.140 of the Municipal Code of the City of Warrenton, Missouri regarding sidewalks and pedestrian ways.
Roll call vote.
Alderman Quarter.
Yes.
Alderman Cullum.
Yes.
Alderman Romaker.
Yes.
Alderman Miller.
Yes.
Alderman Schultz.
Yes.
Alderman Crump.
Yes. Bill number 30-23 passes 6-0. All right, Tim, what do you have next for us?
The next project is the section 420.090 fence regulations ADM 130. This section 420.090 fence regulation, section C, on a corner lot, the fence shall not extend beyond the established front building line, nor shall any fence extend beyond and we're going to remove the interior side lot line and rear lot line. We're adding the side building line or rear right away on either public road. This is for these corner lots where we have issues with sight line, the rear building line, side line. So we're just trying to make it simple, simplify the ordinance for the corner lots when people are putting fence ups. Public hearing notice was posted on Warren County Record on April 13th, 2023. The motion passed, Planning and Zoning 9-0 with 1 absent. Do you have any questions?
No. Any questions for Tim?
No, that wasn't good.
All right, I will entertain a motion for the reading of Bill number 31-23.
Moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Cullum, second by Alderman Schultz.
Bill number 31-23, an ordinance amending section 420.090 of the Municipal Code of the City of Warrenton, Missouri regarding fence regulations, R1, R2, and R3 residential districts, RC1, RC2 residential commercial planned district.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for the second reading of Bill number 31-23.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Miller, second by Alderman Quarter.
Bill number 31-23, an ordinance amending section 420.090 of the Municipal Code of the City of Warrenton, Missouri regarding fence regulations, R1, R2, and R3 residential districts, RC1, RC2 residential commercial planned district.
Roll call vote.
Alderman Cullum.
Yes.
Alderman Romaker.
Yes.
Alderman Miller.
Yes.
Alderman Schultz.
Yes.
Alderman Crump.
Yes.
Alderman Quarter.
Yes.
Bill number 31-23 passes 6-0. All right, what's next?
Next project is going to be the Ed Schmeltz office buildings, SP 162 and CUP 89. Chris Wolf of Wunderlich Surveying and Engineering has submitted a site plan application on behalf of Ed Schmeltz for approval for a 4.23 acre area land west side of Highway 47 north of Bruni Parkway. The site plan shows construction of 2 office buildings and 1 warehouse building being built in 3 phases. Office building number 1 is 6,000 square feet. Office building number 2 is 10,000 square feet. And the warehouse building number 3 is 8,724 square feet. Appendix A of the zoning code shows the 2 office buildings as permitted use and the warehouse being shown as a conditional use. Subject site is Zone C3, Highway Commercial District, and is surrounded by properties of the same zoning classification to the south and west. Preliminary stormwater indicates stormwater is handled through an existing detention facility to the west of the site. The final design and to ensure the proposed system is appropriately designed to address the design storm event will be submitted during final construction. The proposal is consistent with Chapter 405, Regulation of the Warren Municipal Codes, and all items and notices have been provided and completed as required by state and local law. Planning and zoning results on the conditional use, 89, the motion passed 9-0 with 1 absent. And they recommend no outside storage of any buildings or material, equipment, or any other items at the warehouse. The site plan, SP 162, passed planning and zoning 9-0 with 1 absent. So the planning and zoning conditions that they requested would be no outside storage of any building material, equipment, or any other items. Chris is here from Wunderlich Surveying and Engineering, along with Ed. They can answer any questions you have on that project. Do you have any questions for me?
I have none for you, Tim. Thank you. Anybody else have questions for Tim?
No. Is there a timeline on completion? Phase 1, 2, and 3?
Hello, Ed Schmeltz, the developer. So we would look to probably start the first 6,000 square foot office building within 3 to 4 months, and then in about a year we would do the warehouse, the 10,000 square foot warehouse, and then a year from that we would do the other office building. So it would be kind of staggered out over the next 2.5 years.
2.5 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is right across the street from the administration building, correct? County?
Yes. Right next to Compass.
Yeah. All right, any public comments about this?
None? Okay.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for the first reading of bill number 32-23.
Second. Motion made
By Alderman Cullum, second by Alderman Corder.
Bill number 32-23, an ordinance of the City of Warrenton, Missouri, approving a site plan for a tract of land located on the west side of Highway 47 and north of Bruin Parkway.
I'll entertain a motion for the second reading of bill number 32-23.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Schultz, second by Alderman Miller.
Bill number 32-23, an ordinance of the City of Warrenton, Missouri, approving a site plan for a tract of land located on the west side of Highway 47 and north of Bruin Parkway.
Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Romaker?
Yes.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Schultz?
Yes.
Alderman Crump?
Yes.
Alderman Corder?
Yes.
Alderman Cullum?
Yes.
Bill number 32-23 passes 6-0. What do you have next for us, Tim?
And the next project is the Joyce Law Site Plan, SP 163. Tim and Sherry Joyce have submitted an application for a site plan approval for 625 East Veterans Memorial Parkway in Warrenton, Missouri. The proposed site plan is to modify the existing 1,300.
Tim, sorry. Don't we got to go to 33-23? The comprehensive, or conditional use permit?
Oh, for Ed?
Project?
Project.
Same project, they both were read together.
Yeah, it's the same project. You guys just
Okay.
have to pass the bill.
Okay.
Or you have to
We got to vote twice, yeah.
vote to read the bill.
All right.
Both items were on the same report.
Yeah, we have to read them twice though legally, right? Yeah.
So we're going to do
33-23.
I make a motion for the first reading of 33-23.
Second.
motion made by Alderman Schultz, second by Alderman Cullum.
Bill number 33-23, an ordinance approving a conditional use permit to allow a proposed warehouse for ELS office located west of Highway 47 and north of Bruin Parkway.
Entertain a motion for the second reading of bill number 33-23.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Quarter, second by Alderman Miller. Roll call vote, please.
Don't I need to read it again? Bill number 33-23, an ordinance approving a conditional use permit to allow a proposed warehouse for ELS office located west of Highway 47 and north of Bruin Parkway. Alderman Miller.
Yes.
Alderman Schultz.
Yes.
Alderman Crump.
Yes.
Alderman Quarter.
Yes.
Alderman Cullum.
Yes.
Alderman Romaker.
Yes.
Bill number 33-23 passes 6-0. Sorry about that, by the way.
That's okay.
I was in go mode on that one. So. All right. Now we're moving along to the Joyce.
Okay, the Joyce Law Site Plan, SP 163. Tim and Sherry Joyce have submitted an application for a site plan approval for 625 East Veterans Memorial Parkway, Warrenton, Missouri. The proposed site plan is to modify the existing 1,300 square foot building with a proposed one-story, 1,200 square foot addition on the east side of the existing building. The C3 district defines office building as a permitted use in Appendix A of the zoning code. The planning and zoning results, the motion passed 9-0 with one absent. Staff comments, there's no stormwater is proposed, payment into the stormwater fund is requested, and the staff has reviewed the proposed site plan and found that the proposal is consistent with 410 subdivision regulations of Warrenton Municipal Code. Bart is here. Bart Corman from Lewis and Beatty is here to answer any questions on this project. Do you have any for me?
I have none for Tim. Anybody have?
No.
Anyone have questions for Bart? Does the public have any comments about this? None? My only question is this Tim's new doghouse that he gets to live in when he's in trouble? All right. And I will entertain a motion for the first reading of bill number 34-23.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Romaker, second by Alderman Cullum.
Bill number 34-23, an ordinance of the City of Warrenton, Missouri, approving a site plan for a tract of land located at 625 East Veterans Memorial Parkway.
All right, I will entertain a motion for the second reading of bill number 34-23.
So moved. Second.
Take
that.
You guys are on top of this today. Motion by Alderman Miller. Who wants it, Schultz or Quarter?
Give it Schultz.
Give it to Schultz. Alderman Schultz gets it.
Bill number 34-23, an ordinance of the City of Warrenton, Missouri, approving a site plan for a tract of land located at 625 East Veterans Memorial Parkway.
Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Schultz.
Yes.
Alderman Crump.
Yes.
Alderman Quarter.
Yes.
Alderman Cullum.
Yes.
Alderman Romaker.
Yes.
Alderman Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 34-23 passes 6-0. And Tim, congratulations on your new home. All right. What's up next for us?
The next one is the Adcock Place Preliminary and Record Plat, SUBD 108. William and Kelly Adcock have submitted an application for a preliminary/final record plat for a 17.1 acre tract of land north of Highway M, east of Spody Lane. Preliminary plat application is to create 2 new residential lots and has been submitted in conjunction with the final record plat. The subject site is Zone R3, High Density District. The preliminary plat is the first step to subdividing the property. The plans show a preliminary design of 2 lots. Lot number 1 is 3 acres, and lot number 2 is 14.1 acres. The plan shows easement requirements to provide municipal service to the lot in the future. The applicant has requested an expedited review with the preliminary plat and record plat being presented simultaneously as permitted by 410.210 of the city code. This project was at planning and zoning. The motion passed 9-0 with 1 absent. City utilities, that's water and sanitary sewer, will not be served the proposed lots due to the distance and lack of access. The proposed preliminary and record plat is consistent with Chapter 410 of the subdivision regulation of Warrenton Municipal Code. And at this time, the applicant is just subdividing the big lot into 2 separate lots. So there's no, I think they're planning on maybe 2 houses at this time, so no subdivision or anything like that. And the applicant should be here to answer any questions you have.
So right now, we're just dividing the land up.
Just subdividing the land, yes.
Where's the access for that? Is it off of Spady or M?
It's going to be from M.
From M?
From M.
Will they need a crossing, a railroad?
They do, and they have all the paperwork.
They already have it?
It's been submitted with the report from the railroad and the approval.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
All right, I will entertain a motion for the first reading of bill number 3523.
Moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Cullum, second by Alderman Roadmaker.
Bill number 35-23, an ordinance of the City of Warrenton, Missouri, approving the preliminary and final plat of the subdivision known as Adcock Place subdivision.
I'll entertain a motion for the second reading of bill number 35-23.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Schultz, second by Alderman Quarter.
Bill number 35-23, an ordinance of the City of Warrenton, Missouri, approving the preliminary and final plat of the subdivision known as Adcock Place subdivision.
Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Crump?
Yes.
Alderman Quarter?
Yes.
Alderman Cullum?
Yes.
Alderman Romaker?
Yes.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Schultz?
Yes.
Bill number 35-23 passes 6-0. All right, what do you have next for us, Tim?
The next project is the Woodland Heights subdivision, SUBD 110. Chris Wolf and Wunderlich Surveying and Engineering has submitted a preliminary plat application on behalf of Ed Schmeltz for a 51.3 acre tract of land on the east side of Highway AA north of the North Service Road. The request is to establish 109 single-family residential lots with the associated infrastructure to support the development. The preliminary plat is the first step in the process of subdividing the property. The plans show a preliminary design of lots, roadways, sidewalks, stormwater management facility, or stormwater, sanitary sewer, water lines, fire hydrants, street lights, easements required to provide municipal service to future lots. Once the preliminary plat is approved, the developer must complete construction and improvement plans per section 410.225 of the Warrenton Municipal Code. Finally, a final and record plat is submitted with all requested guarantees and fees to subdivide the property officially. During the planning and zoning, one of the concerns that were brought up by Mr. Costello was that on their initial plans, they only had one mailbox cluster on the north side. So they're checking with the postmaster to see if they'll allow 2 separate cluster box for mail. And if that's possible, then they'll submit on their final with a different location for the second cluster, so everybody's not stopping right off of double A at the mailbox cluster. Another thing, it was prior to the final plat, a water and wastewater agreement must be in place with the Public Water Supply District Number 2 and the City of Warrenton for the development. Some of the property or some of the houses up there are going to be on the Public Water Supply District 2, so they're in the process, Chris and Ed are in the process of talks to get that worked out, and then we'll have a meeting with the city so we can all be on the same page and have an agreement on who's going to take care of what water and the sewer agreement for that.
So some of them will be on ours and some of them will be on others?
On, yes.
On District Number 2, whoever they are?
Yes.
But all of them would be on our sewer?
Yes.
This is going in behind...
North of the
new apartments that just went in, correct?
Yes. From the Service Road.
Service Road, yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Are those addresses going to be Wright City?
Yes.
Or will they be Wright City addresses?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Let's see. Prior to approval of the final plat, completion escrow will be required, and F has reviewed proposed preliminary plat and found the proposal consistent with Chapter 410 subdivision regulation of Warrenton Municipal Code. Further, proposed design and residential subdivision furthers the goal of the comprehensive plan. Chris is here. He has a PowerPoint to show everyone. So, all right. You have any questions for me?
Any questions for Tim? No.
I do have one question, Tim, before we go any further on the water situation. So half is going, you said, or part of it's going to be this. Would it be easier for us to wind up with that because of the...
Well, at this time, I don't think they want to give up.
They're not willing to do that.
Right.
That doesn't surprise me.
That's what we're in talks, or Ed and Chris are in the talks trying to figure that out right now.
Because everybody knows that as soon as something happens, they're not going to know who to call. Or they're going to call both places, so. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, Chris, go ahead.
All right, thank you. My name is Chris Wolf with Wonderlick Survey and Engineering. I do have a short PowerPoint here, but I was going to try to answer some of your guys' questions throughout the process that got brought up through P&Z. Basically, this Woodland Heights development is north of the PUD that we had come here previously for. Creekside Apartments is to the south. This is the single-family piece that we talked about when we came through with the PUD. So we're getting to the preliminary plat phase on that. There will be access off of AA, and there will also be access from the south off Creekside Drive, and also access to the east. Something that did come up at P&Z previously when we did the PUD is that P&Z recommended that be a gated access, that only emergency vehicles can access Spady Lane there. So that is one of the things that was brought up in the PUD process, and it was brought up again at P&Z about keeping that access gated. So that's one comment to make sure you guys are aware of. I think last time we talked at the Board of Aldermen after the fact was that opening that up and not having it gated access. Logic behind that was, increased traffic is, there's basically two ways to look at it. Either the gated access is only good for emergency vehicles. With no traffic on that road, the road probably won't ever get improved as, say, gravel. If we do open it up, there will be more traffic, but more traffic might generate the aspect of that road getting paved sooner. So that's one thing that I did bring up last time to the board when we did the PUD. So I wanted to bring that up again to see what the board would recommend for the approval of this, opening that up or leaving it gated. As far as the developer goes, he'll do whatever, the city wants him to do on that.
I thought we discussed leaving that open.
You too.
I think we did.
Did, yeah. I just want to make sure it got put in the minutes, because I know at P&Z, they reverted back to what they had in their minutes, and in their minutes, they wanted it gated, and then you guys decided that not to gate it, but I'm just saying it got brought up again. So I want to make everybody aware that, if that is not going to be gated, the developer is fine with that. We just want to make sure that if we need to put up gates, we do. Yeah, so we comply with that. So I just want to bring that up. I guess the other thing is, I'll just run through these slides real quick. It's a single family residential subdivision, 109 proposed lots on 51.3 acres. So it's the piece to the north of Creekside Apartments. It's already zoned R2. We're basically using it as an R2 use. This is just kind of an image showing where the location of the property is. This is a copy of the site plan preliminary plat that was submitted. I'll get to these other slides. As far as green space and common ground, we meet the criteria of the code in excess by 2.5 times required green space. The north side of the development. And if you guys got questions, let me know, but I'm going to run through this pretty quick to get to this couple slides in the back. So the access, I just kind of brought up now. We do have access from the south. We'll have access to the east off the county road and off AA to the north. The thing about the mailbox options, so yes, this is Wright City. As of right now, it's Wright City, which is kind of strange because it's in the city of Warrenton. Everybody thinks it's a Warrenton address, and it is a little bit confusing, but according to the postmaster at Wright City, anything that's served off AA is Wright City. According to the postmaster at Wright City, when I talked to him, he actually said that the Creekside Apartments should have actually been Wright City. But now that process has started as Warrenton, and then we just got the PUD passed to extend that. So what we did is we submitted a plan to the Postmaster General of Wright City that shows this whole development, which is the single family all the way down to the multifamily. And within those multifamily, we have a gang of mailboxes on the south end of the multifamily, in the middle of the multifamily, and now we're going to propose 2 different gang locations here for mailboxes in the single family. So we submitted that to the Postmaster General, actually the Postmaster, not Postmaster General, but submitted to the Wright City, and he actually sent that on to try to get clarification of what the addressing is actually going to be. So he thought he would have something back today, but he didn't. But I guess there's potential that everything in the multifamily is going to be Warrenton, everything in the city, single family is going to be Wright City, or potentially everything is going to be Warrenton. It's kind of, according to them, a long time ago, this was set up that anything over there is supposed to be Wright City. So adds to confusion a little bit, but that's kind of where I'm at with the post office right now.
Good luck.
Yeah, and so on this, I did get approval from Wright City Postmaster that we can split the gangs up. That was something that came up at P&Z. So we do have some mailboxes, closer to AA, and then we brought another section down towards the middle of the development to try to space those out. Something that was brought up as far as the water and sewer, public number 2 doesn't have the capacity to treat any sewer because they don't have any sewer in the area, so all the sewer ends up in Warrenton. But the water district does have a water main along Spady, and it comes all along AA. So we're actually going to loop that system from Spady up to AA as part of the water district. We initially tried to get the water district to give the rights up to Warrenton so we could just deal with Warrenton, but they did not want to give up their rights. So we're dealing with 2 different entities on the same piece of background. So as you can kind of see up there in the north end, I don't know if this laser pointer won't work on that screen. I don't know if it'll work on this. So that district line is actually this property line right here. So all these people over here are going to be in district. So what we're having to do is some of these lots are actually going to be half in the district, half in the city. Wow. So that's the agreement that we're having to work out right now. So there's a water main across the highway right here in Warrenton. So we're going to get Warrenton water for this little triangle right here. And then we got to get district water from here and here for the rest of these. So it's not ideal, but that's what we're dealing with on the districts. So.
What size homes are we talking about? And what, is there a range?
I mean, I know that these are going to be mostly custom homes, and Ed can kind of speak on behalf of that. I know there's a 1,200 square foot minimum in the code, so obviously they're going to be above that. But that's, I don't think he has plans, house plans for anything right now. I think they're going to be more lot sales.
And this is an HOA, correct? You're going to have an HOA, private streets or public streets?
Yeah, so these will be public streets, dedicated streets, once we get into the single family part. All the multifamily stuff to the south is all private streets, but the single family is going to be all lot sales on public streets.
What kind of time frame are you thinking about on this project?
I mean, basically as soon as we get our approvals. So working with the water district, we've already talked to the fire department, we've already talked to MoDOT, so we got a lot of things going that way. But I mean, I'm sure he's going to want to start building as soon as we get our approvals. So next couple months.
Show me where that access is to the Spady. Is that on one of these?
Okay, so this is kind of more of a blown out version, but Spady is basically the extension. So basically, as far as an aerial photo, I wish I had a better one, but as far as the people to the south, this access, I think there's a home here and maybe a home here. There's actually two homes that are going to be affected by the additional traffic that's coming from the south. Most of the homes up here to the north. So anybody that's going to use this access is actually just going to be past these couple of homes to the south and shouldn't affect. There won't be as increased traffic in this area near as much, just because they're going to turn off. Yeah.
Is this something that we can clear up with P&Z when we have our meeting? I mean, this doesn't need to be answered tonight on the gates, correct?
Well, we have to put it as a condition on the ordinance, and it looks like on the second phase at Creekside, that was actually one of the conditions, was that that gate would be put up until Spady was a hard surface.
Okay.
Correct. It was a condition on the PUD, which got brought up again at this meeting, so with P&Z. So when we talked about it at the board, I know the P&Z had made a recommendation that it be gated. I think the Board of Aldermen went ahead and, if I remember right, the Board of Aldermen basically went ahead and approved without taking that condition out. We did talk about it, but I don't think the I don't think the wording was right that we're going to approve minus this. I think it was just we're going to approve, and that condition was already in there. So the only way that we take that back out is basically at some point that PUD would have to be modified or a condition taken off of it. Is my only estimate.
Is that a hard thing to change in the future? If we keep it the way they recommend it now and keep the gate, and then if we decide in the future to open it back up?
I personally think there should not be a gate there. I mean, I don't see that the fire department or any emergency services would stop to open a gate. I think they're just going to take the other routes anyway. I think the access should be open. I don't think it's going to increase much traffic. I think people are going to go to the paved route if they can. It's just going to be an emergency out if they need it.
So I guess in conclusion, you know, trying to figure out, we're still working on the mail issue, still working on the water district issue. But as far as the preliminary plat goes, you know, I think that we're going to have water, sewer service to all the lots, road access to all the lots, public streets, and, lot size requirements, meeting everything in your guys' got any additional questions for me or Ed, I'd be happy to answer them.
No.
Thank you, Chris.
I'd still like to figure out a way that we could ask P&Z about that and try to get on the same page with those guys, because obviously they have a reason why they want to put that up there. I don't know that I agree with what they're talking about, but at least we courtesy of doing that. I don't know if we can do that with some time.
That's what I was asking. Is it going to hold anything up if we just keep it the way they recommend it?
You don't wanna hold
And
it
then
up.
if we decide with them, hey, we're okay with opening it, we can just say in another meeting, we recommend opening it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's on anything up to the condition, it's actually on the PUD at this point. So you guys approve this, we move forward with this, and then work through the PUD process. Or it's something where the gate gets put up, and then you guys we make a recommendation before to take it down at some point too.
Well, even if we keep it up there now, the way it's written, and then if we talk to them in our meeting next month.
So John just clarified on this preliminary, that road is not part of this preliminary, correct? That's in the PUD? So right now, tonight, you approving or disapproving this preliminary has nothing to do with really with
Okay.
Spady. We would have to go out and back and make the changes on the PUD anyway.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
So the gate doesn't have to be decided tonight.
So the gate means nothing on this?
Yes. Okay.
Thank you for that clarification. I haven't yet. But. Any other questions for Chris or for Ed?
No.
All right. Any public comments about this piece of land?
Yes, I'm Kenneth Dove. I'm a resident right next to this plan, and I was wondering, you talk about a sewer system. Would I be able to connect to this sewer system if you run it out there?
That I don't know.
You would have to bring your property into the city in order to.
To voluntarily annex into the city to.
That would be later on anyway, but right now or not. Thank you.
Connecting it. You're on Spady, right?
Right.
It's similar to where this road that we've discussed, right?
Yeah, that would affect me, that road too, on traffic, but if you can improve blacktop or something, I would be happy about that.
Well, the road is belongs to the county, so it's up to the county to improve it, and I think if we traffic to it.
Any other public comments? No. All right, I will entertain a motion for the first reading of bill number 36-23.
Moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Cullum, second by Alderman Schultz.
Bill number 36-23, an ordinance of the City of Warrenton, Missouri, approving the preliminary plat for Woodland Heights.
I'll entertain a motion for the second reading of bill number 36-23.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Corder, second by Alderman Miller.
Bill number 36-23, an ordinance of the City of Warrenton, Missouri, approving the preliminary plat for Woodland Heights.
Roll call vote.
Alderman Corder?
Yes.
Alderman Cullum?
Yes.
Alderman Romaker?
Yes.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Schultz?
Yes.
Alderman Crump?
Yes. Bill number 36-23 passes 6-0. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Made by Alderman Corder, second by
Second.
Alderman Roadmaker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're so adjourned. Thank you, everyone.